Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here on December 30th, 2017 at 14:55 in the afternoon Eastern Time. A very long New Year's Day holiday weekend here. Well, not just in the United States, I guess all over the world. Cheers. Post-op day 9 for me. Post-op day number 9 for me. I'll show you a couple of pictures of the, well, I had to edit out the full picture because as one viewer said here a few days back, he pointed, he didn't think I had any junk. Well, I did. It was just the edema was kind of, covering up a lot of the junk. But I can't show you the junk because it's YouTube. Those of you who can find my Tumblr, you can see my junk and the full picture on Tumblr. Cheers. I'm not going to tell you the name of the channel either on that one. Things are healing, bit by bit. Most of the edema's gone. Things work. Things work. Okay, and really, as I said, this has never really been particularly painful. I've been a good boy. I have refrained from aspirin and ibuprofen since, well, about 9 o'clock in the morning last Saturday. Well, it's getting time to where I'm going to start taking at least one aspirin a day starting tomorrow for my coronary artery situation. I mean, I've got to do that. And I did break down and take some ibuprofen today because I don't want to keep taking 100 of tramadol a day. I take 250s a day, split them up about every 8 hours. But I just soon not do that. So I have had 2 doses of 400 milligrams of ibuprofen. Largely from my shoulder and neck and knee and lower back stuff that goes on all the time. All of which has hurt a lot more than any of this hernia stuff has ever hurt. So there we are. Now, as you see, I have a visual aid. 2 Corinthians 12. It's one of my very favorite chapters in the entire New Testament, if not the entire Bible, because it speaks to several issues. One, as you know, I coordinate our prayer group at church. And in this chapter, St. Paul talks about his having encounters with God and the divine when he was in a state of prayer. Now he kind of speaks a little, well, I don't know, it's Paul, he speaks the way he speaks. He writes the way he writes. But then the last couple, 3 verses of the chapter are basically among, well, I think some of the most powerful in the entire New Testament. So I'm going to read them to you. Now I'm going to read you the entire chapter. So those of you who don't like this kind of stuff, I guess you can go click away. You'll miss the pictures at the end, though. This is out of the Authorized Version, also known as the King James Version. It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. I just noticed that construction. It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. Doubtless I think see, it just hit me. I think he meant by that, why should I even entertain the idea that, why should I even entertain any doubts about what I experienced and encountered, Okay, so with that in mind, we'll carry on. I'll repeat that. It is not expedient for me doubtless to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord. I knew a man in Christ above 14 years ago, whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell. God knoweth. Such an one caught up to the third heaven. And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body I cannot tell. God knoweth. How that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words which it is not lawful for a man to utter. Of such an one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in mine infirmities. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth, but I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me or he heareth of me. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh. And now we're starting. A thorn in the flesh. The messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly therefore will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distress for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong. Enjoy the pictures and have a great New Year's, YouTube. Bye-bye now. But before we get to the pictures, I have some other things to say. There's always other things to say in a YouTube video after you sort of think you've said and done it. I've turned on the big red heater, so there's a lot more ambient background noise now than there was originally, because I turned it off. Well, I had to leave some heaters on, otherwise, given that it's 13 degrees Fahrenheit, the place would get relatively cold relatively quickly. Plus, I'd opened up the curtains over the back door so you get some more natural light in here. Those have since been closed. Cheers. Well, one, and this is I've been doing this for over 5 years now, but you still make rookie mistakes. Today's rookie mistake was putting something with basically, it's like text up on my little computer screen that I'd like to put something up on when I do this kind of set piece videoing here, in that format, the way I did it. Well, of course, you can't see any detail on that. What it was, I can show you this now. Well, now I can show it to you. No, it wasn't that one, actually. It was this one. It was this one. The last 3 verses that I was telling you about. Well, and you can see them on the wall behind me there, next to Sam Wheelan's hand on the wall there with the cross in his palm. Those of you who are aficionados of the King James Bible, the authorized version of the Bible, as I am, I love its language. I just love its language. I grew up with it. I grew up reading it. I learned to read out of it. I've said that before. But you'll notice that there are italicized words throughout the text. And for a long time, I didn't know what that meant. And of course, once you learn what italics are in school, you're generally originally told something like, "Oh, that's for emphasis," And so when you read it aloud, the tendency is, well, initially, until you know better, is to emphasize those italicized words. Well, that wasn't what they meant. What they meant was that in the Greek text, and you go back and look at the Greek, get a Greek New Testament, or ideally a Greek English New Testament. I use Green's. You'll see that the words that they've put in italics are not in the Greek text. But the translators added that in the 1611 version so that it would make sense when you read it aloud. Well, particularly read it aloud. But in these two instances today, because there were two or three actually, I think. No, yeah, three. 1, 2, 3, 3. Yeah, you might see here three. See the ones in brackets? Now and to be, and let's see, now and to be, and that. Those are actually in italics in the King James text. Now, actually, this is one of the few instances where it makes sense whether you can leave them out, and it still makes the sense that's meant from the passage. So I left out those words in brackets. In other words, I left out the italics in the from the AV text. I apologize for that, but since it didn't change the meaning, tough. Doesn't matter. Anyway, that was carelessness on my part. And I apologize for that. Another thing I apologize for, and this is actually a bit of some consequence, is that many people have been leaving messages on my videos and other ways as well, expressing best wishes for me healing, and you have no idea how much I appreciate that. I really do. And that makes a lot. It really does. It's makes a lot of difference to me. It really does. I'm a heck of a lot better than I showed when I showed you the post-op day 2 pictures here back, on the 23rd of this month. Okay, I think, rookie mistake, italics in the King James Version, thanking y'all. I think that pretty much wraps things up. So now I can say bye-bye YouTubers. But here are the 2 pictures I keep telling you about. Honestly, they're going to be there. Bye-bye.